Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I've finally made the much awaited Q&A video. So without much further ado, let's just get started. Now, in my video where I had asked you guys to send in your questions in the comments down below, there were so many questions related to NEET exam, so I just thought I'll clear it in a separate video, and I did post that video. If you haven't watched it, make sure to check it out. It is the video before this one, and I'll link it down in the description as well. But just to brief whatever I had mentioned in that video in like a very precise manner, it is that I won't be writing NEET exam because I've planned to study abroad. And yeah, that's technically it, and I've given like a bigger explanation in that previous video, so do check it out. So I'm just going to move on to more questions so that I can answer many more different questions. So first question is here on the screen. Thank you so much, means a lot. So first question I've already answered. Moving on to the second question, what are your career plans? So my plan is to pursue medicine. I've always wanted to become a doctor, and yeah, I mean, I haven't decided further on what specialty I'm going to take. It's probably going to be something I want to explore, see different rotations, and like see which one I like in medical school, which subjects I like, and I'll choose based on that. But yeah, overall, I'll be going with an open mind. Third question, which coaching you are planning to take? Now, I am in 12th grade already. I've graduated. I've already forgot. Yeah, but yeah, I've graduated and I've finished my boards. So no more coaching. I'm not going to take anything. So thank you so much for asking your question. Really means a lot. Okay, so going on to the next question. So which reference book should I buy for class 11 PCB? So being very honest, I did not buy any reference book in 11th grade because after 10th, for me, 11th was a little bit of a challenge, especially since, there were lots of content within NCRT itself, and physics textbooks were just so hard to understand. So it really took me some time to understand the nature of the subject. It's the first time you're actually learning in depth for all the three sciences. So I did not use any reference book, and maybe it could be a mistake. I don't really know. But I did score around 93%, 94% in 11th grade in my final exams. So maybe I didn't need them, or maybe if I did take it, I could have increased my marks. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I did not use any reference book in 11th grade. And please recommend some YouTube channels for studies. Okay, so I studied from like different YouTube channels. I studied from Vedantu for biology. Then I studied from Physics Wala, from the older videos for physics. For chemistry, I refer to Learner Hub videos. And yeah, that was it. This was in 11th and the beginning of 12th. But then as I started coming towards board exams, I really stopped watching YouTube videos. Like, I didn't really watch much. That's what I would suggest. Like, finish all your YouTube video lectures or whatever resources you have or you want to refer to for your own satisfaction at least a few months before board exams, and then like at least 4-5 months before board exams, stop referring to all that and like just follow what your teachers say in school or whoever you're following, whether it's in tuition or coaching, and whatever content you've learned so far, just read through them again and again. Because let me tell you from my board exam experience, all those extra stuff that you learn, it might come in competitive exams, I'm not really sure, but if you're only doing boards, or if you have that, like you want to get good marks in boards, too much of details, like the things that are not there in the textbook, are very unlikely to come, especially for bio. If you ask me, there's so much of information out there, but you may not need all of them. So focus on that. Focus on like what mistakes you can make, how they can twist the question and ask the same thing in a different manner. Those are some things you have to look into in your last final months. Okay, that was it. Thank you for your question. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so first question, how to make notes. Now, I think this is a very subjective question. There is no one right way. For example, in my class, I had a few students who would make notes in iPads and like digital notes and stuff. But I personally wrote like actual traditional writing method in my notebook. So if that's what you're asking, I write everything down. And in terms of how to exactly make notes, that is a question that you should really ask yourself and see which one you like what kind of method you like. There are people who try making notes in the form of questions. Put the question, then put the answer. That could work. And there are some people like me who basically, when the teacher is explaining, I write down whatever she's saying, because anyways all that textbook and slides and ppts, all that the teachers use, the resources, it's all with you in your laptop or in your or any website or in your book. But then, whenever the teacher is explaining, there are times when my teacher would say, "Oh, this is important. This came in last year's board exam. Oh, this is important. This is a very frequently asked question." And when your teacher says that, I write down that concept in very brief, and then I'll put like 5-6 stars next to it. That's what my teacher used to make me do, and that's something I do. I would say previous year board question. Make sure to learn. I would put a small note for myself next to that part. So everyone has a different way of taking down notes, but I would say that in 12th grade, if you want to and if you have the time, try to make it really aesthetic and all that. But if you ask, my notes were not so aesthetic, but they were very functional. I had used it in the last minutes as well. So try to keep it more of a functional note rather than something that is aesthetic or pretty looking, because that really won't matter in the last minute. You need to have it to go through the entire syllabus and revise everything and really see what is important and focus on that. Then, how to balance NEET with class 11. Now, actually, if you ask me, till class 11, I was preparing for NEET exam. My decision to move abroad was literally near the end of class 11 and the beginning of class 12. So yeah, it was kind of chaotic. It was not easy because I've never gone to tuitions. That's something I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but yeah, I've never ever gone for tuitions till end of 10th grade. Like, imagine 10th grade without tuitions. Yeah, I've never gone. And in the end of 10th grade, I actually had a friend of mine who used to go to a Hindi tuition, and I'm, as you know, I'm from Tamil Nadu, and I do not speak Hindi really well. So and I had Hindi for my second language for board exam. So I really needed like a little bit of support. By the end, I realized that, and I went for like a few months of Hindi tuition, and it really helped. I was able to score 92 in Hindi, which was a surprise for me. I mean, it did really bring down my percentage because every other subject I got above 95, but 92 in Hindi was a little bit disappointing. But at the same time, I don't think I would have got 92 if it wasn't for my teacher's help. So I think Hindi was something I did struggle with a little bit. So yeah, until then, basically the idea is that I didn't go for any tuition. And in 11th grade, having tuition for all your three science subjects, and it was not just tuition, it was coaching, and I was like, I can't handle this. And there was like I was like getting constantly bombarded with NEET questions, and like my school would do a different chapter, I would like do a different chapter in coaching, and it was very stressful. And it was all going haywire actually, and that's why I kind of took a break, and maybe once I would focus only on school when the exams were near, and then I would just catch up with whatever tuition was, like what was happening in tuition, with a little bit of notes. But I focused mainly on school, and it was kind of hard for me, but I know that there are some people who did manage NEET and class 11, and that is when you make a priority. I think that's your only way. It is very hard, especially if you're going for an actual school and actual coaching. And if, of course, there are going to be things different going on in both of them. You'll have like practicals in school which you have to learn, which won't be there in coaching. So I would say choose one. If you're really into NEET, and if you know that you're going to study in India, or if you're going to do NEET, then maybe focus on NEET. That's what I would say. But overall, I don't think I'm very qualified to give an answer to this question. All I can say is I did struggle, and I totally understand what you're going through. Just don't be scared or frightened. Everyone goes through it. I think those who are preparing for competitive exams, or even for preparing abroad, it wasn't easy. I had to write exams for moving abroad as well, and it was very hard. It's very different from what we learn in CBSE curriculum, so I struggled as well a little bit. So yeah, overall I would say that do ask someone you know who has done NEET, class 11, class 12, is in medical school in India and has successfully, got good grades in NEET. And I think they would be able to help you much more than I am, because I stopped NEET preparation in around the beginning of 12th, so I'm not really sure. So yeah, and who is your inspiration after parents? Of course my parents are a huge inspiration, but if you ask me after my parents, I've never really, actually, to be honest, when I think about it now, I never really had like, oh, this person is my inspiration. I've never really had that. I like some certain the things which make you feel a particular way. Like for example, when you win in a competition, like if you have maybe a speech competition and you win in it, and you feel that kind of pride and really the fruit of your hard work being seen and giving you that success. I like that feeling, and I think that feeling, that rush of success, is what inspires me. I wouldn't pinpoint it to any one person because everyone's different. Yeah, so that's something I learned, and I that's really my motto, to be honest. I like feeling the pride that you get when you get the fruits of your labor. So yeah, that's basically it. What type of doctor do you want to be? Yeah, okay. So I'm going into medical school, so not dentist. But in medicine, I haven't really decided. I'm, again, as I mentioned before, I'm going with an open mind, seeing what I like, and then I'll choose accordingly. That's what many of my mentors, like the other doctors I've spoken to, had said as well. Just really go into medical school, see what you like. But I've done a few internships and just doctor shadowing and stuff. And what I liked the most was surgical specialties. So let's see. I mean, I'm going really with an open mind. So let's see. Yeah. And when are you going to share your class 11th notes? Pretty soon. I'll make a video on it very soon. So, why I want to be a doctor, not any other career? Now, first of all, it's a very obvious and cheesy answer, and that is I love biology. But I think more than that, I realized that it was not just the love for subject that pushed me towards taking medicine, but the idea that you can really assess someone's health status and you can visibly see that you're making a difference in someone's life. Of course, there are various fields in research, if you like biology, if you like chemistry, but I think medicine really gives you that one-on-one interaction with patients. I like that. I enjoy interacting with people, so that's something I felt like I would enjoy, being a doctor, apart from just the subject part. And I think that aspect of serving for patients and really keeping their healthcare in mind as a lifestyle for a doctor is what really made me want to choose this career path. And then, what's my favorite song? To be honest, I have so many songs which I love listening to. I like listening to Taylor Swift songs, and in case of Tamil songs, I just love Anirudh's music. So yeah, no one particular song, but these are my favorite artists. Moving on to the next question, how much does math help in physics? Now, I really don't think I'm qualified enough to answer the question because I haven't taken maths in 11th and 12th grade, so I don't really know. But then I feel like it's not just some, it doesn't really make a huge difference because I have friends who've taken math and they face similar difficulties as me in physics, because I think math comes into play especially in class 11 when you're trying to learn integration and differentiation and the basic rules surrounding that. But then especially in this board year, like 12th grade, I don't think we used much of integration in the sense of using it in numbers. It was mostly formula and derivations, which you can really memorize. I didn't really have the need to go through any maths rules, anything as such. Okay, so next question, how to balance life with studies? Okay, so this is one of my favorite questions, and I would say that there's no right way, there's no right method to do it. It really comes with who you want to be as a student and who you want to be as a person outside of school. I feel like if you're someone who has a lot of close friends, relatives who you spend a lot of time with, then really balance out that time. See how you can talk and spend time with your family at the same time study. If you're maybe someone who plays a sport, again, maybe waking up early in the morning, practicing that particular sport, and then going to school. That's how you really balance it. Like, I cannot really say how to do that. It's something which will suit your lifestyle and your hobbies and interests. But what I did was, I do horse riding, and I was continuing with it a few months before my board exam. But then, of course, I did take a break from horse riding a little before boards, because I was a little worried that if I get injured, I've fallen off sometimes, and if I get injured, then there's boards and we have to write and stuff, so I didn't want to take a risk. But otherwise, I would like go twice or thrice a week, and before that, before I leave, I would always make sure to complete my homework or whatever pending work is there. And you cannot be perfect. There will be some work that is left, and that's fine. It's the balance is, I feel, is really about just prioritizing your work. If you have something to do tomorrow, then you do it today. And if you have something that is due maybe a few weeks ahead, then you can maybe skip that. So it's really about prioritizing your task, seeing what is important and how much time there is left for it to be completed, and then plan accordingly. So next question is what I think about using social media apps during studying, and whether I would like completely cut off myself from social media or use it for a limited time. So it's a very good question and a very relevant question, I feel. So I'm not like a very huge like user of social media. Of course, I'm on YouTube, but then if you would have noticed during my exams, whether it's school exams or board exams, I avoid posting videos because I really don't have the time. It does take a lot of work to edit, and I'm the one who's editing. And during the time, I would like to focus on my studies first. But if I have any video I've made before, that's when I would post it. I would like, if I have it ready, then I would post it, but otherwise I won't do anything during my exam time, especially during boards. I wouldn't like have the time to do it. But I mean, I would film during like studying and all because it doesn't disturb me, but then editing would take time, so I don't do it. And even other types of social media, whether it's WhatsApp or like texting, I text my friends for doubts. That's it, like whether we have to go to school tomorrow, or when do we have revision classes and all that. And otherwise, I don't really have that much of like the need to use social media. So yeah, I'm not a huge person who uses it. But otherwise, what I would suggest is don't completely cut it off. If you cannot have your own set limit, then maybe delete your app or log out or whatever. But then if you do use social media, then you can use it for limited time. I don't think this is a huge problem. I mean, there's a lot of use with social media as well, even during boards. If you have a doubt on like how to solve a question, you can just put it on YouTube. It's a social media, but it's helpful. So I would say use it for a limited time if you're good in like time management and stuff. But yeah, you don't have to necessarily cut everything off, because that would make you have the greater desire to use social media, and you would be back to square one. So why do that? Yeah. Okay, so next we have a pretty long question. So how to read NCRT. Now, as you've mentioned, I'll make a separate video on that because I have to really take out my textbook and show you how I do it. How to be fluent in English. Now, I wasn't a very good student in English in like my grade 1 and grade 2. I still remember like my parents used to tell me that my teachers told that I was still not very good in English, with English, and like I was not talking much. I was a like shy kid. But then I think what really helped me develop my language was certainly reading a lot of books. I'm a huge fan of fantasy, and like I just love reading. So I think that could help. And I used to watch a lot of movies, especially Barbie movies when I was small. I used to watch so many of them, and I think that would is what would passively help in improving your language. And then of course talking with your friends in English as much as you can. think that would help you. Um, how to make notes? Okay. Again, I think that I need to show my notes, so I'll try making a video on that separately for both NCRT and making notes. The channel I used to study in class 11th, I have mentioned previously, it was Learner Hub, Physics Wala, and Vedantu, and like whatever comes up, to be honest, I would just, if I like it, I would just watch it. Which reference books I used for 11th? Biology, I did not have any, but in 12th grade, I just bought an Oswald book for biology, but then I didn't refer to it much during the end, but it was helpful in the beginning. The apps in which I asked a doubt, no, I did not use anything. I would just really ask my teacher, just Google it. And then how to increase knowledge, I guess, by, if you're talking about like education, no kind of knowledge, like for studies, I would just say stick to your textbook if you're focusing on board exams, and keep reading things again. If you have a doubt, clear it then and there. I think revision would really help improve your memory and your knowledge. How many hours do I study? What did I study in class 11? I think you know what I would say is, don't really count the hours. I don't remember saying like, oh, I'll study for 3 hours today. That never works. And even if it does, it's just too much of work to count the hours you study, right? So I would say, if I have to finish maybe electric charges and fields today, I would do that today. Like I can study for either 3 hours. If I finish it, great. If I can't finish it in 3 hours, then I study for 6 hours. Doesn't matter, as long as I get the work that I have to do done that day. That's all I focus on. How do you maintain a discipline in class like a topper? Okay, I didn't really get the question. If you're asking about discipline in class, I guess listen to the teacher, maybe just pay attention and keep a note of what the teacher says, what is important, and I think note it down. I believe that's what you're asking. And what did you learn in the beginning of class 11? In terms of subjects, we just learned from NCRT. And if you ask about like the mistakes I made, then definitely stick to NCRT. I think I went like too much overboard with like looking at neat questions, looking at jail kind of questions for physics, which I did not need because I'm not an engineering student. But yeah, don't like over search everything. Just stick to your textbook, stick to what your teacher says. What your favorite subject is and why? I like biology, and of course it's because I have a natural inclination towards like biology and medicine and trying to understand how the body works. But if you ask me apart from biology, I would definitely say home science, because I genuinely enjoyed home science. It was a subject that was so well rounded. Like you were learning about journalism and communication in one chapter, learning about all India Radio, Doordarshan, and all that. And then the next chapter you come to, you're learning about fabric, the colors, different color schemes, and all of that, and like how fashion began in France and how it developed and all of that. And then you come to the next chapter and you're learning about many laws, labor protection laws, laws that Plantation Act, Factories Act, all of those acts. So it's such a well-rounded subject. You're learning about so many things. So I feel like it just gave me an overall knowledge, and apart from that, obviously you could score marks very easily, so I like that as well. How do you manage self-study? Now I love self-study. If you just learn or get a hang of it, it'll really work, because when you're listening to your teacher, you're passively learning, but when you're studying on your own, you're actively recalling information, you're trying to write it down. So that's how you do it. And I know it's hard to manage self-study in school, and like if you go for coaching, but try and prioritize self-study, because no matter what, you will learn the best if you're learning on your own. And I realized that at the end. What is the secret ingredient for scoring good marks in class 11? Now in class 11, I did not score like too high, but it wasn't as bad as I had thought, because class 11 is hard, right? Especially you're taking science stream for the first time and all of that. I got like 93 or 94% or something in class 11 by the end of the year, including my practicals and all. And I would say it is to be consistent, start from day one, keep studying, and don't stick on one chapter for like 1 week. That's a mistake I made. Like revise. Okay, the number of times you revise is also very important. So study, like the first time you study for maybe a week, focus on quality of the knowledge you gain from each chapter. Then do your revisions fast. Don't waste time. Keep revising, doing it again and again. Reading in the bus, when you're going, coming, or whether you're going in the car or whatever. Just keep reading and keep recalling information actively. And how do you balance class 11 with NEET preparation? So I've answered this question before, and you did well. I hope it is all about hard work or smart work. Okay, so I think both really plays. Like you can use your smart work, plan like a million things, but then if you don't really take that effort to sit and study, that's hard work, and if you don't do that, it won't lead to success. So I think both hard work and smart work should have an equal role to play. Then how do you study with great focus? So I think first of all, remove the distractions, and I think focus would come automatically. Remove your phone. I never keep my phone in the bedroom when I'm studying. If it is like on Wi-Fi, or like just put it on airplane mode if you're keeping it. Only if you have doubts, use it, I guess. And then yeah, otherwise don't usually use my phone that much, so I don't find it a distraction. But if you do, then remove it from your room. Turn off the TV, turn down the volume on like the speaker or radio, whatever is going in your house, and find the right time. I like to study at night. If you like to study in the morning, that's great. Anytime you find comfortable, and to focus, you've got to have interest. So try to like learn actively by writing down what you're reading, by repeating it again loudly like you're teaching others. That would help you concentrate, and you would forget about the things around you and like focus more on your book in front of you. So what inspired you to become a doctor? I've answered this question as well. The feeling of, I think, giving back to a community, and at the same time, the amount of knowledge you get, it is really empowering. The feeling of being able to know so many things, to be able to help others with that knowledge, I find it empowering. I find it interesting and exciting. Okay, moving on to the next question, face reveal. Now, I've been asked this so many times in so many of my videos, and I don't know, I just enjoy posting videos like this, and I do not have any plans of making any changes in my vlogging style. So I have no plans. I just enjoy what I'm doing right now. So I guess, I don't know, let's see. Board expectations. Okay, this is an interesting question. I have no expectations in terms of like boards. I'm really having like, okay, we'll see what's going to happen, because physics was very scary, honestly. I didn't expect physics to be that bad. You know what they say, like, oh, boards will be hard, you have to study, all of that. But at the end, it usually isn't that hard. That's what I've heard from like my seniors long back and all. But then this year, I found physics to be truly challenging. If school was difficult, physics in the boards was a lot more difficult. So because of that, I think because of this one subject, there's not much of what I don't know, I don't have any expectation, because it's very unpredictable. Otherwise, I think the other subjects went pretty decent. Tips for upcoming students for JEE, NEET, 11 and 12. Now, JEE, I do not know. I won't be able to give an advice. NEET, I did till 11th, so again, I don't think I could give good advice. But 11th and 12th, start studying from the beginning. But take enough breaks. Don't like get burnt out. But study, as I said, study really well, and then keep revising again and again whenever you can. And yeah, don't miss out on the subjects you can actually score, like English. Study that for boards, like actually take your effort and study it. You want to bring your percentage up as much as possible. In terms of my journey, I'll definitely try sharing it in another video, and I'll just talk about like my preparation for boards, my 11th grade starting, my initial preparation for NEET, and then moving to abroad and all of that. I'll definitely share my journey. And yeah, all the best for your 10th grade results. Thanks for your comment. Okay, so this next question is a tough one, and to be honest, I've not really thought about anything apart from MBBS. But to answer your question, maybe if I had to go for another biology related course, I would maybe look into forensic science. And if it is something outside biology, maybe I would look into law, aviation, like becoming a pilot, and maybe business school or something. To answer the next question, in terms of abroad studies, I've applied to UK and Ireland. Yeah. To answer the next question regarding physics numericals, I would say go through the textbook examples, book back the textbook questions, and make sure you're thorough with them and know them really well. But honestly, for me, my exams, I found the numericals quite tricky, and they were very different from what was like kind of there in the textbook. So yeah, that's something I found difficulty in. Moving on to the next, I would say that based on difficulty, physics would definitely be a 9 out of 10. Chemistry would be maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Biology would be a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 in difficulty. And home science would literally be maybe a 3 on 10 or like a 2 on 10 because it's so easy. And English is, I would say, yeah, it's easy again, 2 or 3 on 10. It's very easy, it's not very difficult. So next, in terms of reference books, I used Oswald for biology, and I bought, did not use, but I just bought H.C. Verma for physics, but I never really used it. The book is literally new because I didn't even have enough time to finish physics textbook questions, and then at the end I felt like textbook was more relevant and I didn't use it. Moving on in terms of class 10th tips and guidance, I've already made some videos on that and I've made a playlist. I'll link it down below. But otherwise, if you want more videos, I will definitely make some in the future. And what was my mark in class 10th? I got 97.2% overall in class 10 with 99 in social studies, 99 in science, 99 in maths, and 97 in English and 92 in Hindi. So in terms of applying for universities abroad, especially for what I did in UK, there's a website called UCAS, and it's like a common portal where you choose your universities, you put your universities, you put your personal statement, your 10th grade marks, your 12th grade predicted marks before you write your board exams, and all the letter of recommendation from your teachers and all of that. And then you choose like if it's medicine, you choose only 4 medical university, and one other university is going to be your backup. So I chose biomedicine. You can choose any other non-medical course as your backup. So that's total of 5 universities, and then you submit it. There's always a deadline which changes every year. And in terms of Ireland, you directly apply to each university. You go to the website of the university and you apply. You put in all the documents they ask. But yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll cover in more detail in a separate video because it's quite long and a lengthy process. It took me several months to prepare, so I would talk about that. And you also have to write a UCAT exam and an IELTS exam. So there are 2 exams which you have to give, and you have to score really well in UCAT to get a good college. So next, in terms of pen, I use 2 kinds of pens. So I use a ball pen for exams, and I use this, I'll put a picture. So I use this ball pen for my board exams in 10th and in 12th grade as well, because ball pen is just easier and faster to write during exam. And then for my notebook work and all, because I like to have it a little bit fancy, I use my fountain pen, and it's literally the oldest pen I have. It's almost broken, but yeah, I've used it since 6th grade when you first start using a pen. It's such a memorable pen for me, and I used it even in 12th. So yeah, that's it. So that brings us an end to the video, because I answered like most of the questions which I've seen, and yeah, I think probably I might have missed some questions. I'll try to talk more about it in my next videos. I'll talk about my university applications, 10th grade, 12th grade, all the mistakes I made and what you shouldn't do and what you should do that I feel, and my suggestions and advice. I'll definitely do videos on that. But that's all I could cover in this video, and I hope most of you guys were able to find an answer to your questions. Yeah, that's it. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and do share the video with your friends and family.